So here we're going to continue looking at z-scores, and I wrote this problem already, so go ahead and pause the video and write it down, and when you're finished come back. I'm going to read it and then we're going to start working this. So here this example says the Yankees scored 859 runs and play in the American League, where the mean number of runs scored is mu 721.2 and standard deviation sigma of 93.5 runs. The Reds scored 790 runs and play in the National League, where the mean number of runs scored is mu equals 700.7 and standard deviation sigma of 58.4 runs. Who had a relatively better run producing season? Now the reason this is significant, and everybody may not know the differences in baseball, but in baseball there's an American League and a National League, and they have different rules for hitters, and they have different people that can hit at a time. So this is a good way to compare the two teams to see who did better amongst their league, and thus we can compare them together. So what we need to do here when you see a problem like this and you're given this information, and ask relatively better. That means we need to see how far each of these teams, the amount of runs they scored, how far they are from the mean. So let's do that. That means we need to find the z-score. So let's do this. Let's find the Yankees over here, and over here we'll do the Reds. So start out by writing the formula. Z is equal to x minus mu all over sigma. So I'm just going to start with the Yankees and do them first. So we plug the z is equal to, and plug in everything we want to know. Let's take it step by step. So we're dealing with the Yankees, and they scored 859 runs, minus the mean of the league that Yankees are in, which is 721.2, and that's divided by sigma, which is 93.5. So you have to make sure to use the correct mean and the correct standard deviation based on which team you're working on right now. And then the Reds, z equals, I'm just going to rewrite the formula here. Always write the formula, it helps out, just so you know we're plugging things in. Go easy. And if you're still confused about what to plug in this x portion, then plug in everything else that you know. You know there's a division line, and then there will be a minus sign here. The mean of the Reds League was 700.7. The standard deviation of that league was 58.4. All right, and then the only thing left over is how many runs the Reds scored. That's the only data observation we're looking at, or data point. All right, so you subtract these two, divide by 93.5, and here you get 1.47 standard deviations away from the mean. And over here, you do the same thing, and you'll get 1.53 standard deviations away from the mean. All right, just based on this information, we can now determine who had a relatively better season, and relatively better season is the key word. All right. So in this case, whoever has the highest z-score had a relatively better season. So that would mean the Reds did. All right. The only caveat to this higher rule is if we're dealing with time. If a problem's dealing with time, then the lower z-score would be better. But we'll do another one of those problems later on. That's it.